Nice work, Rusty. Rusty there with Alan and Ben Grice. We have to get back to track action because the MRF Nissan Pulsars are out there. Your commentators for this one, Callum Brannigan and Gary O'Brien.
Thank you, Matty. Yes, we've got Nissan Pulsars on the track for their trophy race today, and there was a little bit of a sensation before this started with the winner of the first two races relegated to several spots for a 20-second penalty for weaving at some stage in race two. So at the moment, they're out and running, and it's Jamie Craig, his brother, who actually lives in the state, who comes down for these meetings, who leads away from Harry Inwood, the man who dominated both practice sessions and qualifying yesterday, but just couldn't get a win together, Callum.
Absolutely, it's great to see Josh Craig. Well, it will be great to see him charging back through the field in the number 20 car. Also, Tim Colabretta, the number 1 M15 Pulsar, currently running in third position at the moment. He's just half a second off the lead at the moment, so we'll keep a keen eye on his progress throughout this race. But Jamie Craig has his mirrors full of Harry Inwood behind him. This is a fantastic battle as they come across the top through Skyline for the first time into the tight, twisty, technical nature. Coming into the dipper, they're cutting the corner just a little bit, bringing up a little bit of dust there. This is intense racing for the Nissan Pulsars. This is indeed their first visit to Bathurst as a category as well, Gary.
Yeah, and already Josh Craig has picked up a spot at the expense of Dan Smith. You can hear the MRF tyres complaining under the brake loads. They are getting through the first lap of this, the 5-lap feature for the weekend.
They've already had a race earlier this morning, or 2 races earlier today, and Harry Inwood has been the man in charge throughout practice and qualifying so far this weekend, but it's been the Craig brothers who have had his measure in the races. It's great to see Smith as well. That's Daniel Smith in the number 313 car. They're 2 wide going into the chase. This is the fastest corner in Australian circuit racing. Tim Colabretta all over the back of Harry Inwood. This is a fantastic battle for the lead.
This is all about slipstream, and you can see what it's done. Harry Inwood's gone to the front. Colabretta moves into second spot with Josh Craig and Jamie Craig then following them as they get in through the corner. Dan Smith in 5th spot, Reynolds in 6th, Shane Tate in 7th, Chris Manning, who had an engine blow up at the end of qualifying, was put on great progress to get back to 8th position. Then it's Ben Sheedy and Scott Tidyman, the Formula 4 driver, who's got up to position 10.
Mark Crutcher just outside the top 10 as well in position 11. He's doing double duties this weekend. He's also steering the bright yellow Ford Mustang in the Turtle Wax Trans Am series, and it's great to have him circulating in the Pulsars as well this weekend.
As a matter of fact, he was out of the Trans Am race quite early. I guess it was so we can get into this car to run in the Pulsar series.
Absolutely, and it's great to see Grassroots Motorsport getting its time on the main stage here as part of the support bill of the Hi-Tech Oils Bathurst 6-hour endurance race. And as we said earlier, this is the first visit for the Pulsars to Mount Panorama, and all the drivers relishing this opportunity.
There was a little scary moment there. Someone did a hard turn to the left to go into the pit entry from the back. Oh, bit of a touch up there as they go through that corner. Car 99 making a move there, and a little bit of
Oh, and they've come together.
It's Charlie Viola.
That's
the picture partners. He's had a crash. There's been a few go in there together. And this will trigger a safety car, no doubt, as we see.
And that's Schofield in the wall there. So the N14 Pulsar, the white car, number 191, stranded on the driver's left-hand side there. So he was pitched into the wall following contact. And that is an unfortunate end to his weekend on what is the main feature race for the MRF Tyres Pulsar.
Yeah, unfortunately in the first race this morning he ended up in the kitty litter down at the Caltex Chase, and now unfortunately we'll have a safety car out on track, and you can see the damage at the front of that car, and since they drive from those front wheels you're also going to have a problem with steering and what have you.
So this is the second safety car of the weekend for the MRF Tyres Nissan Pulsars. And we've got a replay at the start coming up shortly as well. So yeah, as we said before, this is the second safety car for the weekend. And this is the start of the race that we missed just a little bit earlier. So it was Jamie Craig starting on the front row alongside Harry Inwood, coming into turn 1 side by side. There's also Tim Colabretta in the number 1 car just behind there as well. He's been the fastest M15 Pulsar all weekend.
So Inwood was actually the first into Hell Corner, and as the rest of the cars thread their way through, 3 and 4 wide, as you can see there, they move up the hill. Now, it must have been the side drafting that would have assisted. We've had one get completely sideways and manages to hold it together and keeps it going. Here's another shot of these two that we've seen. This was the start of the incident that happened a little bit further up the road. 3 into 1 will not go, and the one in the middle was Charlie Viola on the outside, who went across, and the fortunate one there was the 99 car that we've seen in a little bit of trouble earlier. That was Matt Early, and he was running about 14th or 15th in the earlier races, so unfortunate for him, and as a result we've seen the and there he is pulled up out of Forest Elbow.
Yes, and that's the car of Early parked up on the exit of the Elbow. We can see Schofield being escorted out of the car as well. He's been well looked after by the medical team. We have to say big shout out to all the volunteer officials and the marshals out here this weekend who are assisting all the competitors in the good times and also the bad times for Schofield this weekend. So he's just getting a quick check-up. He'll get in the back of the Kia Stinger and he'll be escorted back to the pit lane. I dare say it was fairly light contact between those cars, but as you can see, the concrete walls around this 6.213 kilometre Bathurst Mount Panorama circuit, there is zero margin for error, and especially when you've got 3 cars going into the cutting 3 wide, that just doesn't go. So unfortunately, that's a terrible way to finish their weekend.
That was one of the Pitcher Partners cars in this race, and Pitcher Partners is a backer of the series, along with, it was Hanrahan actually, not Viola, so I've done him a disservice. Pitcher Partner cars are identical, just the numbers change. So Charlie's still out there, and they are a major backer of this series, along with MRF Tyres. Motor Racing Australia series have also recently become involved in this. And we're going to get another close-up of this incident out of turn 2, heading up towards the cutting.
So it's Early with the inside line in the number 99 and 14 Pulsar. He actually pushes, or not pushes, but Schofield has been shuffled to the left-hand side. He's out in the grey. That's the dirty part of the circuit, and they just, yeah, there's no room for Early to go. Hanrahan and Schofield both unfortunate, not victims, but they're hitting the wall as a result. So, yeah, there really wasn't much Early could do in that instance. He was squeezed for room and tagging of wheels. Obviously, there's plenty of camber dialed into the suspension setup of these Nissan Pulsars, and they, yeah, when they interlock wheels, that's the result.
Yeah, and there's the Early car parked out of Forest Elbow, and unfortunately, that has meant we've had this safety car period for a little while. Yesterday, of course, Harry Inwood just dominated. He led practice 1, practice 2, and qualifying, but in the races preceding this one, it was Josh Craig who was the winner of both. And unfortunately he got pinged 20 seconds for weaving, so was relegated to position 5. He's already moved himself up to 3rd spot ahead of his brother in 4th.
So beautiful pictures being brought to us courtesy of the Pertec drone. Fantastic to see Grassroots Motorsport getting its time in the limelight as part of the Stan Sport coverage. Beautifully sounding cars and awesome pictures. Fantastic audio being captured by the team from Stan Sport, so fantastic to be part of the support bill this weekend. So Josh Craig in the number 20 car has made his way up into 3rd position. He did take out the race earlier today until he copped that penalty for weaving when he shouldn't have been. On screen now, Tim Gollenbrita in that number 1 car as well. So you will notice 2 different models of Nissan Pulsar in competition this weekend, Gary. You've got the N14 Pulsar, which on screen right there. You've got the number 20 of Josh Craig, and the number 1 car of Tim Gollenbrita was the N15.
Yeah, the N14's a 92 to 95 model car, and the N15's a 95 to 2000 model. Independent rear end for the N4, a beam set up on the N5. The N5's a little bit longer in the wheelbase, it's a little bit lower in its roof line, so they reckon it really negates any advantage one has over the other. And of course you can select from the sedan or the hatchback, and that's just a driver preference, I guess, or the owner's preference, or what you can possibly get hold of these days.
Of course, spare parts are absolutely being torn through at the moment. The 191 car of Schofield, just a prime example of that. So plenty of wreckers yards that used to have Nissan Pulsars in them are quickly being snapped up. And I dare say that mess has been cleaned up very quickly by the recovery crews. Fantastic effort by that crew, and we are predicting a restart this time around, which will give us 2 flying laps according to the timing screen as it stands at the moment. And we've got Inwood in the lead in the number 43 car. He's closely followed by defending champion Colin Breeder in the number 1 car. Josh Craig, the man in form throughout the races so far this weekend, handing them in 3rd position, just ahead of his brother Jamie Craig.
Yeah, Josh Craig, a 2-times winner. He won it in 19 and 2000. 19 and 20 of 2000s. And of course, Tim Colin Breeder won last year. Craig didn't do all the rounds in 2021, but he has shown that he is a very adept driver of these cars, and so it's now up to Inwood as to when they go. He's a local, so he knows this place pretty well, and will come down to govern the start, so to speak. So look out for the 2 Craigs, Dan Smith in 5th spot, Reynolds in 6th, Shane Tate from down Goulburn Way is in 7th spot. He also does a bit of Legends racing cars as well. And they're on full noise. Green flag is out. And now we've got 2 laps to determine who will take home the Pulsar Trophy for 2022.
Daniel Smith making the most of that restart. He's around the outside of Jamie Craig in the number 313 Pulsar. The Beaches Sea-Doo, number 39, defending beautifully, parking the car exactly where he wants to, and he's defending well, but they're going to be side by side as they run up Mountain Straight, coming towards turn 2.
And I think with Smith will get a bit of a side draft, and he actually pulls ahead of Jamie Craig, who was leading at the start of this race, is now back in 5th spot.
Harry Inwood deep under brakes. You can hear the MRF tyres protesting. Oh, a bit of a moment there for Daniel Smith. He had it absolutely sideways, but the trick in that instance is to leave the boot in it and let the front wheels drag you out of trouble. Up the inside, Tim Colin Breeder, defending champion.
I think that's Craig up the outside, actually. So that's heart in your mouth sort of stuff, trying to go around the outside there. That's where Murphy and Ambrose had their big coming together. And it's not the place where you want to be caught wide. Jamie Whincup had the same drama there, going wide and just going too late. But while these two are duking it out for second, it's allowed Harry Inwood to skip clear at this stage.
He'll be loving that. He has had plenty of pace all weekend long throughout the practice sessions and qualifying as well, but he's been gazumped in the races so far, but this is his chance with clean air at the head of the field to clear away. You can see just how much balance is pushed to the front of these cars. That's where all of the grip is, and the MRF rear tyres are literally along for the ride as they come through the Super Cheap Auto dipper.
It hasn't been a tyre budget weekend. They've been throwing MRF brand new tyres at these cars for every session that they've been out in. There's no restriction because it's not a championship round, so they've gone full on for this one to make the most of their inaugural race meeting at Mount Panorama.
And this will serve as a clear illustration of the differences between the N15 and N14 Pulsars. You've got Colin Breeder in the front in the N15, but he's got Craig up the inside in his N14 Pulsar, so he'll take that position away before they get to the DBA chase. That is a great effort, but Colin Breeder fights back. He's deep under brakes. He's got the inside line, keeps it together. He's got control of it. Craig has been pushed out onto the grass. He holds his own, leaves the boot into it. He takes that position away. That is a fantastic exchange between those two experienced runners.
And the front wheel drive really works. And also, who else is buying into this argument? It's Dan Smith trying to go around the outside of Colin Breeder down into Murray's corner. They're on to the final lap now, last chance, and Colin Breeder's still got Smith trying to hang with him as they go down the straight. I thought Smith was going to try and do it on the grass, but he moved then back behind Colin Breeder, the number 1 car, as they get down towards Hill Corner.
And that's clever stuff as well from Smith. He's putting the car on the racing line, which is indeed the fastest way around the circuit. So he's lining him up for a move around the outside as they come up to turn 2. And it looks like he might already have that completed before they get to that. So it looks like it's N14 Pulsar 1, 2 and 3. Colin Breeder, the defending champion, back into 4th position now. Other movers and shakers as well down in 8th position. We've got Manning, who's made up 2 positions in this race, driving the number 8 car. That's after his engine absolutely detonated earlier this week.
Yeah, we had an engine fire as well. We've sort of lost track of what everyone else is doing because it's so thrilling what's happening here in positions 2, 3 and 4. And Inwood, I think, has managed to break any sort of a chance of a tow from anyone by being 1.6 seconds ahead, with only virtually half a lap to go.
Yeah, he was rubbing his hands together with glee with the notion of Craig getting involved in the battle. Now, looking at the sector times, Craig is the fastest man on the track. He's 1.4 seconds further down the road from Inwood. It's a bit of an ask for him to try and close down that gap before the end of this lap.
It'll be a hot lap if he can do it, that's for sure.
Inwood is still the fastest man on circuit as well with a 2-minute 42.1, which he completed that last time around. But now that Craig has been unleashed, he's gotten around the car of Colin Brett. Aaron Smith all locking the left rear there from Smith. Oh, there's a lot of tyre chirping in the background. That's fantastic stuff there from the Pulsars through the Supercheap Auto Dipper.
Yeah, and already Craig has knocked out 0.4 of a second out of that gap between the front running Inwood and himself. But I just think it might be a little bit too much to pull back a second in less than half a lap.
Slipstreaming is key as well, so you dare say with about 10 car lengths between the leader to position 2, he won't benefit from a draft coming down Conrod straight for the last time. Almost 2 kilometres in length, 1.9 k's long. The longest straight in Australian circuit motorsport coming through DBA Chase for the last time. And we've also got Jamie Craig making a move on Colin Britta as well. He takes away position 4, but the number 1 car's back up the inside. But he can't quite make it around this time around, but coming around Murray's corner.
For the last time will be Harry Inwood. He was fastest all day Thursday. He was beaten in 2 races. I beg your pardon, on Friday. He was beaten in the first 2 races today, but when it came to the crunch time, he's got away with a good win over Josh Craig, with Dan Smith getting into 3rd, Jamie Craig 4th.